Hello, fellow art teachers. My name is Gail Peak,
And I'm Tiffany Wesser.
and we are presenting the YAM theme for the year, which is the art of transformation.
Okay. So the transformation could be transforming the artist themselves. How does the artist evolve through time? Process, experimentation, and revision, using mixed media and collage, transforming from 2D to 3D mediums, using unconventional materials. So let's think outside the box. Basically, cut it up and make it art.
So, the process is one thing that could show transformation from starting with your notes and your research about your subject to doing thumbnails and sketches of ideas and then transforming those into the final art piece.
Okay, then we have experimentation. So you're experimenting with unconventional materials or combining materials. And this one, it starts with the drawing first, then seeing what you have around the room that your artist can create from. So whether it be paper, materials that were given to you, cutouts from foam, just kind of let your students run wild. Their experimentation could also be with shoes using clay and hot glue pieces. Clay pieces from mishaps in the kiln, like when those bowls and other such blow up, take those pieces and glue them back together and spray paint them. Hot glue petals, where you're making hot glue dots, putting them inside parchment paper and then flattening them out and then hot gluing them back together. Or using spray foam, the great stuff from Lowe's, to create brains for zombies.
And then there's also revision, starting with one idea and then revising it to create a stronger piece. And you can see here the original sketches and then the idea pulled from the original sketches and then how that whole idea transformed into something different.
Okay, so then we have mixed media with 2D pieces, anywhere from drawings to spray paint, hot gluing things onto spray paint pieces using multiple different types of mediums. Then we have mixed media with 3D. This one is actually made out of wire, pool noodles, fabric, cardboard, and rope.
Then we have 2D to 3D transformation. And in this project, the students did a series of Zentangles on a large sheet of paper. I photocopied them, maybe 8 copies, and they cut them into the squares, rolled them on skewers, and glued them into tubes, and then cut them and created a sculpture using hot glue. All right, also here we have a lot of different transformation pieces up here in the top right. We started with just a piece of mat board and just found objects around the art room and hot glued them to the board, and we were looking to create texture. We then glued aluminum sheets on top of the objects that we glued and then painted with temper paint. And a day later, just rubbed it off with brown paper towels to give that varnished metal look. Then you have the face vase project where do the drawing where you have two faces or the vase, and the students can turn this paper in any direction and add to it to create a picture of something else. They can focus on the faces or the vases, or here you can see in the center, this one's been turned upside down and the vase has been turned into a tree and the face is the sky. So lots of transformation activities for that. Here, you could take a photocopy of yourself or your students. And what I had them do was they went through magazines and found different colors and textures that were interesting to them, cut them into pieces, and then glued them down. The whole object, of course, was that you could still see them, but they could be anything they wanted to be. They could change their hair, they could change their skin tone, they could add glasses, they could add a smile or whatever they wanted to add.
Okay, in the top left, we have the tea dyeing. So if your students are looking for something to age their paper, put the paper into hot water and then add some tea bags in it to change that color up and make it look old. And in the bottom right, it's really experimenting with the colors and the materials and just kind of playing around. Now, we do go into a little bit of spray paint hydro dipping. This is one way to transform your art. So you'll need a tub of water and an outdoor space. Spray paint quickly onto the surface of the water. You're going to use a skewer to move around your paint. You dip the paper on the surface of the water and push down slightly. Then you will pull your paper out and let it dry. Now, these papers can be used to draw on, cut up, add to other drawings, use in visual journals, collage, photo overlays using the Pixlr app. You kind of can pick whichever you want. And as you see, that piece was missing, had a big hole of white in it. So you just dip it again and get a whole nother piece to go. So here are some more examples of the hydro dipping where they've used it as a background and a cutout. They've used books, so creating book covers. This is a photo overlay with a double image photo. Here's just some examples of the actual pages. This one was cut up to add to the background. And this one of the original cow, the theme was coffee, so coffee then cattle.
All right, and then there's shaving cream and food coloring photos. Using shaving cream dots of food coloring, you use a toothpick to spread out the color, let it sit overnight, and see how the shaving cream begins to break down. You can fold over the shaving cream with a spoon to get another effect and let it sit overnight again. And eventually it just breaks down more and more day by day. Oh, and you can also do a sculpture, a live sculpture of the different stages of the shaving cream.
Okay, so here's an example of the original shaving cream piece, a cropped down version of it, and then turned into a mirror image rotation using Pixlr. So this is us through the years. We have been to many, many conferences, GAEA, NAEA, AP, STEM STEAM, and we have transformed ourselves over time.
Yes, we have.
So we hope you have a lot of fun with this theme for the year, and happy transforming.
Happy, yeah.